Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 6th May 2021. So let us see which are the important articles in today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles. Largely they relate to mains examination and one particular point relates to our prelims examination. Let us take overview of all these articles first. Yes, yesterday the Supreme Court has come up with its verdict. The 5-bench constitution bench had said that Maratha quota is unconstitutional. It violates right to equality, Article 14, along with that Article 21, right to life with personal liberty, due process of law that is involved in there. Then, yes, the center alone can identify socio-economic backward classes. Again, the interpretation by the Supreme Court in the same verdict, and in the end we are going to also analyze this particular judgment of Supreme Court in with special reference to Indira Sawhney case judgment 1992. Okay, so first we will understand what is the present judgment and then we will analyze this particular judgment with reference to the earlier Indira Sawhney case. Okay, along with that, for prelims examination, National Commission for Backward Classes, its basics, okay, the composition and the functions and the Constitutional Amendment Act through which this particular National Commission is established. Okay, so overall we will deal with this same topic here first of all. Then a CT scan for COVID merits a word of caution. So yes, the particular article relates to health section, COVID-19. Along with that, we have to also understand what are the risks involved in the CT scan test that are being referred for COVID-19 patients here at present by many doctors. So the article is talking about we need to understand the risk involved in that CT scan test. Okay, so from health and COVID-19 perspective, we have to understand this part. Then RBI steps in to ease COVID-19 burden. Some of the initiatives especially related or targeted towards MSME sectors, it has come up with new schemes here. So yes, from economy GS3 part, it is important. And lastly, every day we are looking into COVID-19 related developments at national stage. Fine. So yes, let us go into details of all these articles. First of all, let us try to understand the verdict or the judgment in Maratha reservation case before Supreme Court. 5-judge constitution bench was constituted to look into all these aspects. So now some of the, let's say, outcomes or this particular verdict, it unanimously declared this Maharashtra law which provided for reservation benefits to Maratha community as the quota limit was in excess of 50%, now it is declared unconstitutional. You need to remember this, that the fixed cap of 50% on reservation, it was provided in Indira Sawhney case. Judgment 1992, famously also known as Mandal case. Okay, so this is the background. Yes, we are going to also understand the other aspects related to this case. Along with that, the court did not find any exceptional circumstances or extraordinary situation in Maharashtra which required state government to break this 50% ceiling limit to bestow the quota benefits on Maratha community. Along with that, it struck down the findings of Justice M.G. Gaikwad Commission which led to enactment of Maratha quota law. Fine. At the same time, earlier the Bombay High Court in June 2019 upheld this state law. Now this particular verdict is set aside by the Supreme Court. Along with that, earlier the High Court had reduced the quantum of reservation for Maratha from 16% recommended by Gaikwad Commission to 12% in education and 13% in employment. Now all these provisions are declared unconstitutional. Along with that, Supreme Court held that separate reservation for Maratha community violated Article 14 right to equality and Article 20 which involves due process of law. Okay. Along with that, a very important, let's say, mention, it declined to revisit its 1992 Indira Sawhney judgment which fixed the reservation limit at 50%. Okay, so these are the important, let's say, parts of judgment. Along with that, it also talks about the SEBC list, socio-economic backward classes list to be let's say maintained by the president. So yes, the president, that is the central government alone, to the exclusion of all other authorities, empowered to identify SEBCs and include them in a list to be published under Article 342A1, which shall be deemed to include SABCs in relation to each state and union territories for the purposes of constitution. So there will be only one list that is maintained by the center, that is central list. That means a state could only make suggestions to the president or the statutory commissions concerned for inclusion, exclusion and modification of caste and communities to be included in this SABC list. Okay, so this particular statutory commission, it is, yes, there can be statutory commission or constitutional commission. We have National Commission for Backward Classes. Yes, along with that, in the task of identification of SEBCs, the president shall be guided by the commission, that is National Commission for Backward Classes, set up under Article 338B. Its advice shall be sought by the state in regard to policies that might be framed by it. Yes, we will deal with this particular National Commission for Backward Classes separately later on in this lecture. Okay, so that means the Supreme Court has interpreted this particular provision, Article 342A, that the central government will be empowered only to maintain this SABC list and not state government. State government could only make suggestions to the president. Fine. Now let us analyze this particular judgment with reference to Indira Sahni judgment. First of all, let us try to remember back the Indira Sahni judgment, 1992, famously known as Mandal case. Yes, we need to remember this because yes, there was Mandal Commission appointed by Janata government in 1977 to look into the reservations that are to be provided to the backward classes, whether it can be provided or not, what criteria should be there. So accordingly, the Mandal Commission had recommended 27% of reservation to the other backward classes in the central institutions, educational institutions and the public employment, right. So accordingly, later on in 1991, the government had enacted some provisions which provided reservations to OBCs. Along with that, it also had the provision that the promotion reservation in promotions for SC, STs and OBC. Now, in this particular Indira Sahni case, these two provisions of government, let's say enacted by the government, were tested through the constitutional provisions. Yes, the backward classes under Article 16(4) cannot be identified on the basis of economic criteria solely, but the caste system also needs to be considered. That means the provision which was there in that particular act regarding 10% quota for economically backward classes, this was struck down by the Indira Sahni case. Okay. Along with that, the concept of creamy layer was laid down. It was directed that such creamy layer should be excluded from identified backward classes. Creamy layer means even among the other backward classes, there are some, let's say, economically and socially well placed group of caste or group of people, especially we can say that their income level is high. Okay, so for that matter, they should be excluded. This is called as creamy layer criteria for other backward classes. Now, reservation shall not exceed 50%. Moreover, reservation in promotion shall not be allowed. Okay, so that means no reservation in promotion. This is the outcome of this case. Along with that, it also recommended a permanent commission should be established to examine inclusion, exclusion of backward classes in the list. Now, this particular National Commission for backward classes was established in 1993 through particular act. So that means it was earlier statutory body, and later on 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act 2018 provided constitutional status to this particular National Commission by inserting Article 338B. Article 338B. Okay, and any new dispute regarding criteria were to be raised in the Supreme Court only regarding this reservation. So that's why the high courts are not allowed to entertain any kind of dispute here. Fine, let us try to understand in the background of this particular judgment. Let us analyze the present judgment. Yes, the Supreme Court has underscored the importance of adherence to the 50% limit on total reservation, as well as the need to justify any excess by showing the existence of exceptional circumstances. That means here, though the reservation shall not exceed 50%, however, in exceptional cases it can exceed 50%. This is the judgment. Okay, however, the exceptional circumstances are to be established here, then only it can be provided. And in this particular Maratha reservation case, the Gaikwad Commission, on whatever the analysis that was done by the Commission and the facts provided by the Commission were declared, let's say, they did not provide any kind of exceptional circumstances here to provide quota for Maratha community. Then the court's categorical refusal to consider 50% limit set down by the verdict in Indira Sahni case may threaten the continuance of different kinds of reservation in state. Now yes, many states, like we can understand in Tamil Nadu, again it is more than 50%, and other states also they provide more than 50% reservation in the state, okay, be it in public employment, be it in educational institutions. Okay, so their, let's say, reservation quota may be threatened because of now the refusal to reconsider the 50% limit set down by the verdict in Indira Sahni case. Basically, now the Indira Sahni case and whatever the 50% quota is mentioned in that case will continue. Okay. Along with that, the court's interpretation of 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act 2018, by which the National Commission for Backward Classes was created, has proved right fears that national bodies' role and power may impact rights of the states. Just now we talked about this particular interpretation or the judgment that there will be only central list maintained, and whatever the changes are to be done in that list, it is to be done only by the parliament. That means inclusion and exclusion of particular caste in that list, it is only under the power of parliament. Okay, and the president is only empowered to carry out or maintain, notify that particular list. State governments can only provide suggestions here. Okay, so now the state governments are fearful about their powers to declare any particular caste as other backward classes. They are now afraid about this particular loss of power. Okay, so yes, this is also important thing, and therefore it is being said that in future there may be again the Constitutional Amendment Act that can be brought by the present government to bring more clarity and the powers of union and state government regarding the let's say particular list to be maintained here. Okay, so yes, what kind of question we can expect here? Discuss the outcome of recent Supreme Court verdict in Maratha reservation case in Maharashtra with special reference to Indira Sahni case judgment 1992. Okay, yes, a similar kind of framing can be done in GS2 paper polity part. You need to remember this particular judgment. Along with that, you also need to remember M. Nagaraj judgment 2006. Okay, M. Nagaraj case, very important, and in this particular case, the Supreme Court had upheld that reservation can be given in promotions to the SCs and STs. to the SCs and STs. However, it provided some criteria for providing promotions to SCs and STs in public employment. Okay, or promotions, reservation in promotions. So criteria is like it should not impact the efficiency of the administration. Along with that, when it is satisfied that appropriate representation of community is not there in public employment or public services, such kind of criteria are mentioned in M. Nagraj case. Okay, so yes, you also need to remember this particular judgment. All of these are related to basically reservation criteria. Okay, yes. Now, National Commission for Backward Classes. Yes. So, this particular Indira Sahni case had provided for establishment of permanent statutory body to examine complaints of inclusion and exclusion errors in the list of backward citizens, and accordingly National Commission for Backward Classes was established through NCBC Act 1993. Now, 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which inserted new article in the Constitution, Article 338B in the Constitution. It gave the constitutional status to this National Commission for Backward Classes. You need to remember this Article 338, it provided for National Commission for SCs. Article 338A later on added in 2003, it provided for National Commission for STs separated from SCs, and then now the Article 338B, it provides for National Commission for Backward Classes. This is basics, this is given in M. Lakshmikant. Okay. Now the composition is quite similar to these two bodies, National Commission for SCs and STs. Yes, it consists of chairperson, then a vice chairperson and 3 other members. So 1 plus 1 plus 3, this is the composition. Along with that, all of them are appointed by the president by warrant under his hand and seal, and the conditions of service and tenure of the office are determined by the president. So important thing that you need to be aware about this body is that central government and the state governments are required to consult this particular commission on all major policy matters affecting socially and economically backward classes. Okay, so this is basics about NCBC. There can be question in prelims examination regarding composition, this Constitutional Amendment Act or article mentioned. Fine? Okay. Now, a CT scan for COVID-19 merits a word of caution. Okay, a CT scan for COVID merits a word of caution. Basically, it wants to understand us the risk associated with CT scan test for COVID-19. Recently, the AIIMS director had mentioned that the CT scan test has almost let's say risk of exposure to high level of radiations, which may cause to the may become the reason or cause of cancer. Okay, so that's why there was panic among the people whether they should go for CT scan test or not, and the article here explains the risk involved in that CT scan test. Along with that, basics about any kind of test performed in clinical medicine. Yes, let us try to understand that. Yes, there are broadly 3 reasons to perform any test in clinical medicine. One is a diagnosis, which help us understand what is the disease. Then etiognosis, what caused the disease, and prognosis, how will the disease evolve. Okay, so this is a basic information that you can be aware about: diagnosis, etiognosis, prognosis. Okay, testing. Now, a CT scan can accurately diagnose COVID-19 in about 88% of the individuals with a positive RT-PCR test. This is according to one of the study. And since an RT-PCR itself misses around 30% of the people who have COVID-19, a chest CT scan is likely to diagnose only 62% of all individuals having COVID-19, making it a relatively inaccurate test for diagnosis. That means the first criteria we can say or reason, it is actually inefficient test to diagnose COVID-19. You can mention or understand these studies and facts and data. Along with that, there are some risk involved here. Risk like one study found that 0.4% of all cancers in US may be attributed to the radiation from CT studies, and further speculated that current estimate could be in the range of 1.5% to 2% during COVID-19 period. Along with that, it has risk to radiology technicians and staff and doctors for high exposure of radiations due to such frequent CT scan tests. Considering the fact that CT scanners need to be kept in close air conditioner space, the risk for transmission of COVID-19 virus at such centers cannot be ruled out. These are the risks involved in that CT scan test, and that's why it is being suggested that unless and until it is very much important to understand, or let us say the doctor is not able to diagnose the particular, let us say, condition of lungs of the patient, and there is always, if there is chance of other such infection to the lungs in addition to COVID-19, there should be CT scan test, and in that particular exceptional cases only CT scan test should be conducted, and the people should be very much aware and take such, let us say, decisions regarding CT scan tests. Okay. So, yes, as a aware citizen of the country, at the same time civil service aspirant, you should be aware about these general medical conditions and developments in the country. Fine? Yes. Okay. Now, moving on, RBI steps in to ease COVID-19 burden. Okay. So, what the article is talking here, it specifically talks about the Reserve Bank of India is announcing certain measures to ease the economic conditions in the country and provide some relief to the lenders. Along with that, those MSME sectors involved in the or has taken certain loans from the banks. Okay, what is the particular announcement it is talking? RBI governor announced a term liquidity facility of 50,000 crore with tenure of up to 3 years at the repo rate to ease the access to the credit for providers of emergency health services. Okay, so that means to ease the access to the credit for providers of emergency health services. For example, the banks will provide fresh lending support to wide range of entities including vaccine manufacturers, importers and suppliers of vaccines, priority medical devices, hospitals and dispensaries, pathology labs, manufacturing and suppliers of oxygen and ventilators, etc. Okay, so they can avail the credit under this term liquidity facility provided by the RBI to the banks. Okay. To provide further support to small business units, MSMEs and other unorganized sector entities adversely affected during the current wave of pandemic, RBI decided to conduct special 3-year long-term repo operations. Okay, so special long-term repo operations SLTRO of 10,000 crore at repo rate for small finance banks, and they would be able to deploy these funds for fresh lending up to 10 lakh per borrower. This facility would be available till 31st October. So, this is good news for MSMEs and those working in unorganized sector. It will provide certain relief for access to the credit. Okay. At present, there is economic contraction because of lockdowns in different states, and yes, because of that, what is happening is the larger impact is happening on the unorganized sectors and those laborers working in the unorganized sector, informal economy. Fine. So, this is good development to strengthen the economy and bring back in on its earlier path, economic recovery. Now, some COVID-19 related developments at national stage. Supreme Court ordered the center to burn the midnight oil and prepare comprehensive plan for supply of 700 metric tons of medical oxygen to Delhi on daily basis. So, it seeks the comprehensive plan from the central government. Delhi High Court on Wednesday, that is yesterday, asked the central government to drop GST charges on the imports of oxygen concentrators for personal use, just as it has done for donated COVID-19 relief material imports. Okay, yes, yesterday we talked about this, that whatever the donated COVID-19 relief material is there, on that GST has been cancelled. Now, the Delhi High Court has also requested center to drop such GST charges on personal use equipments like oxygen concentrators. Along with that, Ministry of Home Affairs wrote to the states to put in place a plan of action and ensure that no fire accidents occur in any of the health facilities, particularly COVID-19 dedicated centers, both in government as well as private sector. Yes, recently we have seen many such fire accidents happening in the country, especially in Maharashtra, and because of that, the central government, Ministry of Home Affairs, had issued such directions to the state. Along with that, central government, Ministry of Health, Union Health Ministry has said all items received as a foreign aid up to 4th May have been allocated to states and institutions, and substantial part it stands delivered. Okay, so that means all foreign aid has been delivered to the states. A third wave of COVID-19 is inevitable. Given the amount of virus in circulation at present, there was need to update the COVID-19 vaccines to deal with the new strains and mutations. This is the advice given by principal scientific advisor to the central government. Okay, so this is also the future developments. The scientific advisor is also talking about that we need to have advanced planning to deal with such third wave. It has not talked about, let's say, any time when we can let's say face such third wave. However, we need to be prepared in advance to deal with this third wave now. Fine? Yes. So, these are the important developments in today's The Hindu newspaper. Largely the first article we discussed for mains examination as well as prelims examination, it is very important. Fine? Yes. For further information on editorial discussion classes or ED classes wherein in-depth analysis of mains related issues and articles is done by Ansari sir and team, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.